Hello everyone, I'm Silverraptor and welcome back to another Wargame Red Dragon where we get to play with the deck that we just created, the Commonwealth Airborne deck. And before we start, I'm going to be honest at the beginning of this, is that this is a 10v10. It's kind of a cop-out because 10v10s are so random, so just throw units into the grinder and hopefully you get the advantage that it is not as much tactical play as a normal game. I normally would have been playing 3v3 or 4v4 with this, but a couple of factors is the reason why I decided to do a 10v10. One, I was short on time for these past couple weeks, and a second reason is I actually was trying to find a 3v3 and a 4v4 in my spare time, could not get a game to start. I sat in so many rooms that eventually disbanded or would not start for whatever reason. We didn't get enough players and I ran out of time to start those games. So yes, I copped out. I did a 10v10 just so I could get this out there to you guys so you could see a Commonwealth Airborne deck in action. So, since I played this, why don't we go and start this up at the very beginning. So, one thing I want to note is that the enemy does have two support decks at the start, so I put my don't go here flares because that's a common tactic. Both sides will launch artillery at the start of the game, and if you have any vehicles on this road, this is about where the artillery would land when they start going there. As you can see, we're launching ours. But we didn't put any vehicles on the road, a lot of helicopters at the very beginning, and artillery on our side. Surprisingly, even though the enemy had two support decks, they were not launching it at the beginning quite yet. But here is some Mars rockets coming in with the cluster munition. Anything good get there? Looks like sparks are hitting. Yeah, they're definitely damaging stuff up. Right about there, the scene stuff. Don't know if he actually killed anything. Oh, got something. Looks like a Strela, 45 points. That's all it bestered, so not the bet. What? I missed this. An SU-22 M4 is dropping a couple bombs on its. Okay, that's weird. Maybe they have a troll on their team. All right. Well, first off, I did try to do an airborne assault, but this mass amount of anti-air helicopters is forcing me into retreat. So it looks like Ryan is going to move in with his DAPs. It's going to flank these Mi-24Bs. I would have separated these helicopters so they're not close enough for the missiles to take them out, but they're still distracted by these Black Hawks, and these DAPs are doing quite a good job at taking out all of these anti-air helicopters, but they still have their Iglas left. Another one goes down. The Ka-52s are going to try to fire with their Iglas, but it looks like Ryan is going to fall back into retreat. Very nicely done, and here comes a massive rocket artillery barrage. The enemy did land some of their stuff right here. I do a little quick hot shot with my Eurofighter Typhoon, which does manage to take out the Mi-2 right at the start. So I have tried to establish air superiority, and I'm bringing my fighters back so that they're in a safe distance, and then evac, because I decided, hey, there's no immediate airplane spread at the start. As you can see, they're going to do a massive push across. I can see this, so I need to just land my troops. One of my Hueys does go down, which was carrying a man-pad squad. Their massive amount of artillery that's designing into this sector is going to suffer up the enemy quite well. I do have a couple of bush rangers and gunships with rocket pods. They're going to provide a little bit of support, trying to soften up these targets with their cluster munition rocket pods and regular rocket pods, as I unload all of my troops as well. The AH-7s also get to fire with their rockets too. So, as you can see, lots and lots of death and destruction are raining down upon the enemy targets. And I even have my CV, which is flying a little close, but knowing that the Huey was able to land here, I was fairly confident that I could land this with no problems. An FJB has revealed itself with its Strela 3s. The Strela 3s are missing quite a bit, which is kind of odd since their FJBs are an elite trained squad. My SPS have gotten into range of these FJBs. The FJBs with only AK-47s cannot go up against the Bren L4 and the submachine guns that the SPS are sporting. Lynx AH-1s are brought up with their machine guns, as well as the M60s on the CH-118s. So I'm just going to pepper this FJB while my infantry try to move up, they are also having to go through artillery as well, as my command squad is going to back up this at the beginning. As you can see, I am taking the front line right here. My allies are decided to capture Oscar and are bringing all the land-based forces here, which is safer from artillery barrages, but they didn't actually launch any of the artillery, surprisingly. Estrella 10M is going to take out all of my Hueys and Lynx AH-1s, but in the meanwhile, my helicopters are going to be firing with their guns that the Moth shoots in, and the Estrella down below here. And here they're coming forward with more BVP. Someone says they're dropping artillery, so don't advance, but I have other ideas. I wasn't going to advance anyways, because I've got a couple of F111Cs with 4 1,000 kilogram bombs apiece. This is 8 1,000 kilogram bombs that are going to be landing right on top of all these juicy targets. However, the enemy's air has gotten right into that position, so I lose both my planes, but the bombs did have massive impact on both of these buildings, and the enemies are pushing up right up against my troops. Highlanders are taking out the buildings, while Shoots are moving up. Special Boat Squad are trying to hold off the enemy. Huey and the CH-135 are attacking the Strelada 10M. I would have thought they'd be attacking the Monostroki. Paratroopers are being overrun, and as you can see, this I can't really contend with because my troops are a little bit battered, and they just have a lot of troops. Meanwhile, the enemy is pushing up here onto the middle, forcing all these helicopters to retreat, but the enemy has a lot of enemy fighters into the area, flying deep into our territory, and as a lit beacon, all of our air superiority aircraft come in with all the missiles and take out all of these aircraft nice and fun. And I keep my fighters a little bit into the battle so they can take out these Yaks as well. My Sea Harrier managed to take out a couple of Taurs with its Seed, as well as the other Sea Harrier taking the last one out. So my high mobility as an airborne tech allows me to quickly respond to attacks such as that. I have been wiped out on the ground because I didn't really have my allies up, so my command squad is in retreat. I found this little pocket of forest that I'm hoping that no one would actually go in, so I'm moving my command squad here to try to defend it. The enemy did napalm this entire side. This is probably a bunch of Burritinos, and I am trying to bring in reinforcements, so some Lynx AH-1s are going to drop off some paratroopers, and they'll help us out here to try to keep my command squad safe. Definitely want to see if I can neutralize Echo. I brought my Iltis CP up in a less obvious artillery spot, trying to capture Foxtrot. And there's a lot of rocket fire coming from these Schmells, which you don't see a whole lot of, but yep, enemy's going to be rocket barraging all of us here with Schmells. And my helicopters are at the fob for a refuel in case you're wondering what they were doing there. So my Lynx AH-1s are into position. They should be all landing momentarily. I did drop a napalm to basically screen my CV squad. Unfortunately, I didn't know that Dimitri is going to move his chasseurs through that napalm, and so he is going to lose those infantry, unfortunately, due to me trying to protect my CV. Delta Force are going to be taking out these Moth shoots in, and they're going to try to stop these BMPs before they can get to my Iltis CP, that there's nothing there to defend them. These Delta Force are going to just rush forward. I was hoping they were going to rush forward. Oh, but the BMP turn around to try to engage the Delta Force right into their upgraded Carl Gustav M2s, and they are going to take them out with their rocket-propelled grenades. I have Lynx AH-7s and Lynx AH-1s intermixed. They are just going to provide a screen for my CV with SAS, SBS, and paratroopers. These MiG-17Fs are going to be taken out by the Chaparral and the SAS missiles. More MiG-17Fs are coming forward, dropping their 4 250 kilogram bombs. Those two do manage to get out from the lack of firepower, but fortunately my infantry are still into this fight. Down in the center, just mass chaos is going on. I'm sending my helicopters forward to see if they can help out, try to keep the enemy at bay. Looks like there's a Strop 2. My Lynx AH-7s do take that out. They're firing more rockets against this Moderna as well, and just basically the rocket pods are just to slow down the enemy to allow the reinforcements right here to finally be able to cross this bridge and actually get into a defensible position. So Lynx AH-7 firing the rocket pods to complete exhaustion. More helicopters are coming in with their Igla missiles, and my Lynx H7s are just going to take the fire for the enemy team, and they will die shortly. But finally, Tehan is getting his troops into position, as well as Joint Task Force. SAS managed to find some unit and has taken out with a AT-4 weapon. Up here are some T-72 Wilkes. SAS take out a helicopter that was too far close to them. And the Special Boat Squad with the Carl Gustav does take out a pretty expensive tank. But a Tarantula had actually come up and is going to start peppering my infantry from the sea. But I'm taking out quite a bit of heavy, expensive tanks here with Sistrella and another 120-point tank. Another 120-point Wilk goes down, as the rest of my infantry from the perfect point of view from this Tarantula are going to be taken out. AMX-10P is going to be taken out by his infantry squad that is behind us. But my goal is to push forward and get my command squad into Echo to try to neutralize the points and hopefully give us an advantage in this fight. These last three paratroopers with their Law 80 RPGs are going to come up. If they can get a good sight on those tanks, they can take them out. More tanks are coming across as I quickly get my troops into the buildings. SAS managed to hit a T-72, but don't quite kill it because it hits their front armor. But one of the T-72s do go down. Special Boat Squads are able to join with their RPGs, and it's basically this tank barrage of infantry and tanks, RPGs and armor, which can, I guess, hold out the fight. Well, it turns out when they throw in extra infantry behind that armor, it actually swings into their favor quite a bit. Meanwhile, bring a GR-1, which is going to try to drop some cluster munition, but unfortunately all the vehicles are dead. GR-1 does get taken out as the bombs are flying forward. And Napalm is going to soak the entire town in flames, and all infantry are going to be burned alive, as it looks like a bunch of Super Pumas and attack helicopters are going to take out a Tarantula with the amount of missiles they have, overwhelming the close-in weapon support that these ships have. This is why you should always fill out the Navy section in all of your decks, just in case you decide, hey, I want to play a map that actually has Navy on it. You don't then have to worry about having an entire tab with nothing in it. So my allies are cleaning up the back lines, as I hoped they would. And Machutsin are moving across. I'm going to try to I'm keeping the command squad here because I'm trying to delay the points they get as long as possible. And I know that if they retreat, they just come into enemy forces right here. And that wouldn't have been very good. So paratroopers move up. They're going to try to pepper the Machutsin just a little bit. But T-72 tanks are going to take them out at the very start. I bring in a couple of Suna Hornets. They fire their missiles. The Silos and weapon support do successfully intercept all the Hornets missiles as well, as my air superiority fighters that were going to back them up in case the enemy responded also evac as well. So there's a Strela 3 that is apparently giving someone an issue. Give me a second. Why can't I? Well, the Strela 3 I don't believe have very good HE or damage, but they are in AA, so you do need to be mindful of them just a bit. The M1A1HA with its machine guns are going to engage the Monostroke at point-blank range, and these T-72S's are going to be taken out at point-blank range with these Abrams. The M35s pepper the Abrams. It does successfully stun and destroy one of them, but the napalm is stunning up, so a lot of stuff is slowly dying here on the left-hand side. A lot of chaos is going on right now. Planes are dying. Anti-tank helicopters are moving up to take out these heavy tanks. Lots of planes are evacing. It's just, this is what makes 10v10 so much fun. It's just, there's so much happening, you have no idea what's going on. A Luda is moving up. Don't see too many Ludas at all, but he is moving up down the side of the coast, peppering all these vehicles as he goes. Even STRB-990H is being taken hit. And it looks like some MOBAs are going to be loading up their anti-ship missiles, trying to fire at this Luda. Luda has got a nice juicy target of the STRB-90H, which is actually there as a recon, for its optics is exceptional. And we've got the Schmells doing another rain of rockets down onto our spawn point, trying to see if they can get any CVs. And in comes my Super Hornets F-11Gs. They are taking a bunch of shots at the Luda, do successfully take it out. I do turn my Hornets and F-1G away, as it looks like there is a lot of helicopters coming by. Since they're so close, I did put the defense marker because I'm worrying the allies they could try to come and cut us off. My Super Hornet and F-1G, I'm trying to figure out where they're going to go. It looks like I'm going to have them go right for this Udaloy. And yep, they're going straight for it. The Udaloy doesn't have the range to really threaten these planes, so all it can do is try to shoot down the missiles that are coming for it. And one of the missiles do indeed hit, but it looks like an AA from the land does successfully take out one of the planes, as I brought in my air superiority squad in case there was any planes in the area, but there wasn't. So the helicopters do retreat, so we don't have to worry about them for the time being. The anti-ship helicopters do get into close enough range. The Penguins missiles fire. I think they destroyed, yep, they destroyed another Tranquil, which is slowly going to be sinking to the bottom of the ocean. As more artillery is coming across, and it's basically turned into a little bit of a stalemate, which often happens on this map and often happens in this mode if neither side can get the upper hand over the other, since there's so much happening. A Prowler is going to fire a couple of seed missiles at the Bucks. Only takes out one AA piece, but there's so much radar AA that this Prowler is probably going to die. No, he got away at the split second. Very nice. So it looks like there's going to be another round of napalm coming down, as well as artillery. My command squad did die, unfortunate, but now I'm bringing forward another round of infantry. We're going to see if we can push back into Echo and claim what is rightfully ours. And another rain shower of rockets are coming in. So this is where the enemy is putting all of their support section artillery into. More and more rocket barrage aiming where a lot of our CVs are. Well, we need to be careful about that. A lot of our rocket barrages are going off against the enemy too, so I guess we can't really complain if we're doing the same thing. So this has turned into a rocket fight. I actually probably should speed this up, I'm going to save for time. Just a little bit while we're setting everything up. My Pumas are just going to hover. I don't want to get them too close because the Silverraptor does have pretty long range against helicopters with those anti-air missiles. Pumas are landing. Gurkhas are on the opposite side of each other on the coast. Somehow that happened. No idea how. And here comes another anti-ship helicopter rush coming across. So, Pumas are going to be firing, but they're a little too close to some AA. That's unfortunate. Silverraptor is going to try to shoot down, and all the missiles are successfully intercepted in the first barrage. Pumas are going to try to cover for the anti-ship helicopters. I think a couple more missiles did hit the Silverraptor. So we definitely need to get rid of that Silverraptor. I turned my Hornets and my F-11G so that they can fire their missiles. Here these missiles come. One gets taken out, but yes, complete impact. Silverraptor is indeed destroyed. That is an easy 500 points added to mine, and a big pain to remove off the map. Alpha Jets coming in with their napalms are going to be taken out by the radar AA because they do not have any ECM, but the napalm are going to land on top of these Conkers. Su-27 SKs trying to intercept some kind of planes, didn't really get all that much action. Sea Harrier comes in after they evacuated and is going to be trying to find some radar AA. Successfully finds one buck, successfully finds another buck, but does get shot down because there's just so much AA in this area. My Gurkhas unload because I need to be doing an assault. These are the perfect assault infantry for the job. Hueys are going to begin opening up with their M60s, basically just provide any kind of supporting fire that they can, as they basically are meat shields for all of these heavy, super expensive helicopters that my ally has, and to be able to take out any kind of vehicles on the ground. Gurkha's going to move up with their Sterling and their mini-me's, going to completely wreck these Machuten, but a TO-55 as its napalm has revealed itself. The Gurkhas need to get their Law 80s. 22 AP power is nothing to sneer at. Come on, get onto that before the TO-55. Yep, is taken out, but one of the Gurkha squad is completely submerged in flames. Fortunately, being 15-man squads, they do have quite a bit of stamina to be able to stay into the fight. RBS 70s stopped just short of the napalm, as the enemy is bringing forward even more TO 55s, as my Gurkhas are going to have to try to take out the last of these Marchutsen. And the TO 55 as they come into range, since they don't have any line of sight. Enemy is pushing into the forest area here, as MiGs 23MLs are going to be trying to provide some air support. They find a nice juicy F-11C. The F-11C did release its bombs, as my Eurofighter Typhoons successfully assist in taking out all of those air superiority fighters. And there's only some BVP-2s that are left. STRF is going to be targeted by them. Missile does indeed miss. The Nesty are going up against some Hueys. Hueys are being shot at by some anti-air across the bridge, but the M60 machine guns are going to try to provide as much support as they can. Nesty only do have AK-47, but the Huey only has 4 HP, and as you can see, it's down in its one last leg of health. My Gurkhas are all regrouping up into 60-man squads now, or 54 respectively. As my Huey is going to try to take out as much Nesty as he can, does get shot down for his trouble, but the Gurkhas do get into the Nesty face and completely punches it. So here comes some artillery. Smoke, which I have no idea why. Gurkhas are going to engage these Pikota mechs. So these mini-me's are going up against their PKMs. And Gurkhas are in the assault squad. I'm just getting ready to let my last 3-man squad move forward and the RBS 70s to be able to defend against an EAA before I run across and try to take over this town. More rain of rockets are coming in on both sides. And wait a minute, what's going on here? Oh, looks like there's a landing going on right here. Instantly bringing forward my Lynx TOW 2s and my Scorpion 90s with their guns. I'm going to shoot at all these vehicles that try to come across, as this landing to try to cut off our reinforcements is underway. Scorpions are working, TOW 2s are working overtime. Missiles are impacting these youngs, so they're actually taking them out left and right. Mach Regiment does manage to get onto the beaches, but with the Scorpion 90s and all the firepower, this landing is a failure. But there are more over here. We need to successfully hold these off. Lynx TOW 2s and Cobras, all the TIE TOWs going in, trying to take out these young Yokwings, I guess are what they call it, before they get into the beach. They actually do manage to land some of their troops onto an island, so those troops better be amphibious or they're not going to cross into to threaten us, or they're not going to threaten us anyway because we are just going to destroy everything that is there. So, good attempt on their part. Napalm is brought forward, so my Gurkhas are forced to retreat. One of their Law 80s do hit a BMP-1. M60A1 era tanks are moving forward. These are a Marine variant tank. They are going to be pushing forward, and they're going up against the Tarantulas. And normally tanks are actually fairly good against ships, because the ship's guns are only HE power, which is what tanks thrive in surviving. MiG-17Fs are going to drop their bombs, which are 11 HE power. They're going to be dropping down directly onto the M60s, and the sheer amount of firepower is going to take them out. A Chaparral is taken out as well. Su-25Ts, now those are expensive planes. 200 points. They're going to circle around and just pepper any tank that is in their sight. One M60 goes down, another Bradley goes down. RBS, they're taking pot shots against them when Su-25T is stunned. This is about the time when you would want to evac it so you don't lose a 200-point plane. Tarantulas are being hit by the M60 eras, and they are doing quite a bit of damage. Just keep firing. And one of the Tarantulas does go down. Very nice use of these tanks. Su-25T is firing its anti-tank missiles. It's got 16 of those anti-tank missiles on it, so it needs to watch out. Here comes another plane. Another Su-25T is actually back to flying. He did evac it. That's very brave of him. The Chaparrals are all going to fire their missiles. They hit. And Su-25T is taken down. That's 200 points too. And and a Chronic. Very nice pickup kill there. Su-25T is going to keep firing with his anti-tank missiles. Doing another circling pass. Coming back around, fires missiles, takes out the M60. Going to turn, probably to escape, but a bunch of cluster of chaparral missiles does take out the other 200-point tanks. That was a pretty big loss on their part. There's a Lynx 3 that I completely forgot about because 10v10s that often seems to happen. Artillery's coming in as it seems like a massive push is coming forward. 8 bucks coming straight down. They really do not like our planes at all. My Gurkhas are going to begin pushing forward, and they are going to run across because with the accuracy of their main gun, 30%, they are just as good on the move than when they are stationary. And the mini-me's are, you do lose a little bit of accuracy, but it's just fine. And getting into this building complex is going to take over, take out that Machutsin. The Tarantula is parked right here, and it's going to pepper my Gurkhas for the time being when they reveal themselves. But I managed to get these Gurkha 90s up forward. They do the damage to take out one of the tanks, as the other do manage to get to this building compound. So we do have a bit of a toehold into the sector, but my allies are retreating. They're not helping me out quite yet. Super Etidar is going to fire 1 missile, take out the Tarantula, because that's all I needed. Tarantula had very weak close-in weapon support, and it was by itself and heavily damaged. So even though I lost the Super Etidar, that 1 missile was definitely worth the price. So it looks like this attack is stalling as there's enough here to defend against the enemy. Bugs are taken out by a lot of seed. And seems like this attack is going to stall out. My Gurkha is going to try to hold off this against these enemy Machutsin 90s. RBS 70s are moving forward because there are helicopters in visual sight range. They target, they open up. One hits one of the planes. They start getting targeted by these 5-point trucks. RBS fire another round of missiles. Does take out, looks like a KA-52. But now they are going to be focus fired by the rest of the enemy forces, and these helicopters are going to back off, so no more kills for the RBS 70s. They do fire 1 missile. No idea where it went. Gurkha 90s are going to try to hold off against the enemy forces as best they can. They're firing their Law 80 guns and missing quite a bit, but it looks like we're going to get some Delta Force reinforcements. Seeing that the Delta Force are going to be moving up and taking this position. These are 4 Gurkha squads. I want them to get out of there. And with 30 kilometers an hour, I have every confidence that they would be able to successfully retreat out of this situation and have the Delta Force take up while they go back and probably rest and resupply up in manpower. And again, things seem to be calming down quite a bit, but it looks like a lot of aircraft are coming in, as well as another huge landing push as well. Scorpion 90s that were used in the defense, I've reloaded as a couple of Chinooks as I dropped down. Su-24Ms are going to drop lots of bombs so that pave the way for the landing. They lost a couple of their planes in the process, as there was a Lad Stinger, a couple of Lad Stinger squads there, but some Super M60s right there are going to be able to help try to defend against these U-Quins as they going to drop off these troops. A couple of M1A1 Abrams as well. So definitely need to hold off against this push as well. Scorpion 90s instantly going to be gearing up into action. They have kinetic rounds. They're going to use them against these U-Quins. Abrams are being peppered by the guns on the landing craft, and they're starting to get their troops aboard. Oh, no! Abrams, M60s, where are you going? Enemy is that way. You're going the wrong way. Oh no. GR1 is going to be dropping 2 500-kilogram bombs. Problem is, these things can shoot at planes. And the bombs miss. So, planes are going to be shot down. GR1s are given to the enemy as charity points. Shilkas are even drawn into the fight. The enemy seems to be getting a really good toehold. They have a lot of anti-air here. A lot of their ships are starting to go into retreat as they seem to have dropped off 5-point trucks with infantry. But my Scorpion 90 is arriving just at the, basically arriving on the sunrise of the 3rd day, basically to take out these MT-LBVs that they are trying to land onto the sun. And I have some stalwarts with some flies which are going to be trying to group up my Gurkhas, which managed to be hit by quite a bit of artillery and are no longer the 18-man squads that they once were. Scorpion 90s have stopped the landing, but they do have a couple of tanks and Shilkas up here to rip apart these Delta Force. My stalwarts, I'm crossing my fingers, the enemy is not going to target them, and fortunately they do not, as they do successfully get away. Scorpion 90s have moved up, and they're going to be engaging these infantry as they're out in the open. Well, actually, it looks like they're engaging the T-55 AMB, so these light tanks are actually doing quite a good job with their highly accurate, if not highly accurate gun, even if they don't have a lot of oomph to them. BAB BDAA is going to hold off the enemy forces. My TOW 2 is also going to help out with its anti-vehicle capability. STRB-90H is also going to lend a hand with its Hellfires aimed at these bugs, so very nicely done. Scorpion 90 is going to try to hold the line against the T-72Ms. They are 55 points. My Scorpions are 30 points. My Scorpions are actually doing quite well, especially now that they've hold off the enemy long enough, as the more M60 tanks are going to move forward. And it looks like we are responding to this just nicely. More STRB-90s with their Hellfire missiles flying in and taking out the T-72s. Oh, Scorpion 90s, you definitely turned the tide in this battle. Enough time for this to happen. So, Gurkhas and RBS-70s are going to be overrun before long. My stalwarts are not going to get to them in time, as a huge amount of artillery is going to land on top of them. TOW defenders with regular TOW pistols are going to be flown in. Gurkha 90 fire a Law 80, but do get taken out, and the lone chaparral is what's left on this mountain, so it looks like the enemy is edging us back a bit. STRBs are out of Hellfire missiles. It looks like a round of helicopters is going to be coming forward into this fight. DTZ tanks are coming across right into SMAWs and a lot of anti-tank stuff. This really was not really well thought out on their part. Yep, those tanks did not get far. Well, I mean, they got across the bridge. I will give them an award for managing something that should not have been manageable. Alright, so we got the Tarantula moving up. My Lynx 20mm autocannon see that and think, yeah, that's not something we should handle. And they're going to turn around and walk away. Scorpion 90s are going to keep pushing forward. They're going to do some active reconnaissance. If you don't know what that means, active reconnaissance is you throw yourself at the enemy and see what shoots back at them. So they did their purpose on holding the defense. Now they're going to try to see what the enemy has by dying. Unfortunate, but hey, they managed to reveal that they have quite a bit of tanks there. And the Scorpion 90s did get a few shot-offs as well, but not enough to save themselves. So these AMX-40s are going to be peppered by the Tarantula. Looks like another anti-ship attack. Tarantula hit pretty heavily. MiG-25 RBF. These are heavy-duty bombers. Prowlers coming in with those seed missiles, actually taking out one Tarantula. The seed missiles do not get intercepted by the close weapon support. That's a little tip for if you have any seed planes. Try to aim for ships. Just don't go on a direct course so you don't lose the seed plane. Raphaels are going to take down whatever remaining planes have, and as you can see, we have total air superiority dominance as our air superiority fighter battle is about to begin. Eurofighters are going up against the Yak-141s, as well as the Tornado F-3. Alright, planes are taken out. Time to evac. Even though we're deep in enemy territory, I lose a lot of air superiority fighters in that. But the cost is that they also lost a lot of their air superiority fighters and some of their bombers, so I think that was fairly well worth it. And we are somewhat, it's a very close match. We are winning at 22,000 points, as we seem to be gaining ground here onto the left-hand side, finally bringing the fight to the enemy. M1 IP Abrams going up against a Moderna, making the firing computer reset. 5% accuracy, not very good. AMX-40 is going to get into the fight, but they are panicked, and they're going up against other tanks of the enemy. Cobras are going to be flying forward, taking out these Machutsen and any forces that the enemy has. Looks like I'm finally getting the reinforcements for the center that I've been so desperately needed. TOW 2s are going up right along the coast here, see if they can spot any of the vehicles that they can take out. Lynx 20mm are going to try to go for the helicopter, but the helicopter MI2 is going to bug off. So the Lynxes are going to go to the other M2 and try to take out the enemy's eyes. But they are flying a little bit close to some really long range AA. So I do lose a couple. Cobras take off some enemies that were across the way here. Looks like the M1 IP Abrams are getting into the backside of Echo. If they can take out the command, we will definitely get an advantage in terms of points. But it looks like it's going to be stalled out. Su-27SK, they're going to try to go for my 20mm. 20mm do successfully get the kill on the Mi-2. Su-27SKs are going to evac, because I guess they decide that 20mm are not worth fighting for, and also because they probably saw all this air support coming for them. Okay, so that's why they retreated. Lynx 20mm are going to engage these light armored APCs, and with their 20mm guns, they are going to rip apart these vehicles, take out all the juicy APCs, and stop the enemy from moving forward. As well as my Lynx TOW 2 is going to try to stop these tanks that are moving across the bridge. One gets hit in the butt, taken out. Another TOW 2 coming in, and it goes down. Not sure what got the kill. And the last missile does take out a last tank that was on our side. So that TOW 2 has done its job. It can go back for a nice refill. As well as you can see, all my Chinooks here has now turned this into a TOW 2 refueling zone. I'm bringing forward more 20mm helicopters forward so that we can keep up the fight. T-72 M1M is going to be stopping my allied advance on this side. Spas are engaging against the T-72 at close range. Do get taken out as the last man. Another plane goes down over there. No idea what it was, as there is a flyover by Chieftain sacrificing his push rangers for really, I don't know. There's not any immediate gain that I can see by sacrificing these helicopters at the moment. They get Type 59, but that's not really a big achievement right there. Artillery is coming forward, and they are engaging where we once were, so that works. And Lynx AH-7 20mm are going to get into position to be able to provide some covering fire. TOW 2 finds a Strela, manages to take it out before it can engage that TOW 2 properly. So definitely a lucky find there. And I am ready to support any push into the enemy territory, and it looks like there will be soon. No infantry, but a lot of tanks should be able to hold them off. Monostroki are firing against my Lynx A7 20mm, so we do know that the enemy does have some forces there. I'm moving my Lynx 20mm to help out my allies here onto the left-hand side, because I did see some tanks here. Going to definitely have to hold off the enemy forces. A couple of M1A2 Abrams are definitely huge firepower that we need into this position. So we're now going to be flying across the mountain. TOW 2s are going to be firing on the Moderna. Down to its last hit points. Last TOW 2 is flying. Moderna is successfully taken out. That is a huge piece off the playing board. Lynx AH-7 20mm is kind of just sitting there, unable to really acquire any target with the 20mm, and is probably going to go down before long. TOW 2s are firing their missiles, and they are now expended, and they need to retreat and get another refill. A lot of Vickers and M60s are moving up. Abrams are in prime position. It looks like we're getting ready to do a push. It's just a lot of peppering from the enemy is delaying and delaying and delaying. We're going to have to hold off the enemy forces until that time. M1A2 Abrams are detract. He actually did a smart thing and separated the two. So now instead of both of them being stationary, only one needs to be. Mi-28s are going to acquire these M1A2 Abrams. There doesn't seem to be any reliable AA close except this Lad Stinger C, which can't get a sight on these Mi-28s. So one of the M1A2 Abrams does go down. But this one is going to cover as it comes across. I'm dropping another bunch of napalm to try to keep the enemy infantry from closing in onto this M1A2. Don't want any infantry getting close to that tank. Looks like they're gearing up for a helicopter push here onto the right-hand side. We do have a Crotel, but that's not enough AA. The Chaparral is out of missiles, so we're going to definitely need to be able to take on this enemy here at the moment. Eurofighter Typhoon is going to be able to get in close, so they'll be able to engage any enemy force fighter that comes in for a attack run. And it looks like the enemy helicopters are in retreat. K-52 flew too close to a artillery shell as it was flying by. Mi-35 are going to acquire this Abrams tank. I think, no, it's going for the M1 IP Abrams. Up, and here comes a fighter squad. They're flying over their territory. Looks like Crotel did fire a missile at those fighters. The fighters are staying well out of the range, and they're all going to evac. So I guess they were a little bit poking and prodding to see if they could bait out any kind of fighter before this air superiority force came out. All from Anachronic, it seems. And it looks like there's going to be a massive heli rush onto the left-hand side with all of these heavy-duty tanks. This is definitely a big points farm. So all these missiles, all apparently were up. I thought all the missiles were going for 1 OT, but they all did die, so they did split up their missiles enough. Another round of napalm bombs are coming in. Looks like that M1A2 Abrams did die. SQ-27SK are going to be taking out these bombers. As I fly my ships over here, the darts are slower than the F-1G, so the F-1G did one circle around, and I'm having all my planes turn to engage. The Nanushka, see if they can get all their missiles off. Firing forward, Mr. Missiles. And not one missile got on target, and these single missiles are not going to get any close because there's just too much close-in weapon support. So it was a good attempt by me, but not quite to get the advantage. And it looks like finally the push is coming forward against these Mach-Schutzen. Looks like some enemies will be bringing forward some reinforcements. And come on. Something big needs to happen soon in order to make this game exciting. Artillery is going to be going for these Cubs, it seems. Definitely takes those out. Less AA on the field is a lot better. M60s are moving up. Anything to engage? Nothing so far. So if they can get across this... Oh, there are some infantry in there. And now that they opened up, all of our tanks are going to be able to move forward. Cobras are going to engage with their Vulcan and Hydras. Move a little too close to the Molostrosi. Are going to be taken out. As the Cobra does go down from an AA from across the what is this? Sea river? I don't know. Okay, that's taken out, and a lot of stuff is coming, and it turns out to be a whole lot of tanks. So, if any of you are wondering what game, that little short that I released of A Bridge of Tanks, well, this is in fact the game. As you can see, we all see that there's a lot of this coming, and we need to stop this right away. And I haven't said super darts for the Tarantula, but what we need is a nice big setup. As you can see, this is a massive push coming forward from the enemy. But I have a secret weapon, and it's this GR1, which has 8 AP power, cluster munitions, definitely could be able to take out any tanks at all. And seeing that they're coming forward, I target my cluster munition right here on this bridge. GR1 drops its bombs, probably going to be taken out by the AA, but with those cluster bombs in motion, they are going to explode right over these tanks and take out quite a number of them and create a bit of a clog. The tanks are going to have to go around, slowing up their progress across the bridge. They're jamming a bit as they run into the cluster, as bombs and rockets and everything is going to be coming forward, as you probably, if you guys saw the short, I'll also link it in this video. And it is actually blocked the bridge. The tanks cannot cross. They are all stuck right behind this tank roadblock. And as Anachronic said, bridge will be blocked by Rex. Here comes the rest of the barrage. So, this massive push failed because it bottlenecked on one single broadband. Don't you hate when that happens? It is not a fun day to be on that bridge. As you can see, lots and lots of fire. We're all decided to just turn our focus onto these tanks. I don't even think we're thinking of this as points for thinking of this. Oh crap, do not let those tanks get onto our side. Still quite a bit of tanks that are bunched up and still alive, but they are still being peppered by these Cobras, longbows. Actually, all the anti-tank missiles seem to be running out of steam. And we have a huge roadblock here. Tanks are now in retreat because they realize, well, that didn't work, and we can no longer cross this bridge. Spoiler alert, no one crosses this bridge for the rest of the game. So that was a big thing that happened. Actually gave us quite a bit of a lead, gave us a nice good 2,000 points advantage there. Mi-28s are still going to prevent them from moving forward, but we do have some Mistrals in position if they can move up, take out the enemy forces. T-80Bs are actually still being attacked by artillery and are being taken out, but that was successfully stopped. Su-27 SKs are going to be moving forward. They're going to, I guess they're going into a holding position to try to intercept any fighters. I assume so. Yep. Holding pattern established, and it's turned into another artillery fight. Whoops. My Eurofighter Typhoon decided to charge against those enemy fighters, and they flew too close together that the Eurofighter Typhoon successfully, with enough HE power, destroyed one. The cause explosion also destroyed the other. So with my one last Eurofighter Typhoon, I successfully take out 2 of the enemy fighters and help secure a pretty good victory support. Looks like the enemy's going to try another landing push right here, but I think we are a little bit prepared for that. They are opening up with rockets and clusters, so they are going to try to soften up the enemy forces. Leopard C2s are pretty badly damaged. These machine guns can actually kill them if they're not careful, but with the M1 Abrams, Centurion Marksmen also engaging with their guns. Let's see if we can hold off his enemy forces. M60s are firing with their guns, which are not as good on the move as they are stationary. Looks like he's trying to get into the forest to try a little bit of defense. Tanks are starting to land on the beach. Lots of smoke coming in, but these landing craft are quite stunned up. AMX engaging with their autocannons. So this is a massive push. Another rain shower of rockets are flying overhead. Joint Task Force trying to engage these with anti-ship planes. The problem is, these are rivercraft, and anti-ship missiles do not work on rivercraft because they are too small. T-72s are going to get up into the thick of it, but these M1A1 Abrams are going to engage at point-blank range. GR7s are going to be opening up with their paveway missiles. Going to do huge amount of damage against these cluster of troops, as well as there looks to be a napalm covering this breach line, so the enemy cannot advance forward, and this landing is starting to stall out, even with the reinforcement of these helicopters coming in from the top. But the Abrams did go down because the T-72 did engage at point-blank range, and it seems like the enemy is trying to secure a foothold. M8 AGSs are moving forward, engaging with their very accurate guns, taking out some Molostroki. Hempt is providing some valuable recon support. Surprisingly, as the M8s are engaging more 5-point trucks. Gotta make sure they hold off this enemy force. Fennec 20mm are on the retreat, as all of these helicopters are going to chase them off as these TOW defenders are out of missiles. M8 AGS are going to engage with 100% accuracy against these 5-point trucks. And it seems like more infantry are coming across. This is the enemy massive big push to try to break us. Looks like I dropped a couple of bombs in to try to help out the enemy force, or help us stopping the enemy force. Hempt has not been captured yet, surprisingly, because it blows up. And now here comes the reinforcements. Sea Cobras and regular Cobras are going to be bringing forward and mopping up whatever tanks that are still left into the fight. Iltis TOW 2 is going to engage these 5-point trucks at point blank. As more missiles are coming in, Youngs are going to be taken out, and this force is cleaned up. As well as I am bringing my own Lynx 20mm as a backup. Lynx 3 and TOW 2 is revealed. T-72A is trying to retreat, but my TOW 2 does successfully take it out. Link 3 is trying to spot if there's any vehicles that it can engage. Since there are not, and it's a bit of an expensive helicopter, I do not want to lose it, so I will keep an eye on that. Enemy has a bunch of ships back here, not really doing anything. Just have my recon helicopter just keeping an eye on that. Link 3 is fine, some 5-point trucks to death. Ironically, I think the missile is worth more than those APCs that he just blew up. And the a low pressure system has brought in a huge shower of rockets coming in. As you can see, it is very low pressure on our mines because it is not hitting anywhere where there's CV. So we pay it no mind at all. Can't cross here. Let everyone know, yes, this has been shut down for maintenance. We have no idea when it will reopen again. It just seems to have a lot of tank weight all over the bridge. That joke died as I was saying it. Cobras are going to be pushing forward. There seems to be only one AA piece left. It goes down. Cobras are going to be engaging Mr. Ito missiles. Take out these tanks. Another AA piece is going to be taking out the Cobras. So since we can't cross by land, they're going to cross by the air. Take out the enemy tanks as they come. Washingtons are going to get at close range against the twin miniguns. These Cobras are infantry killers because those twin miniguns have quite a bit of anti-infantry power, but there is an AA piece that does rip them apart at point-blank range. Here comes another plane. There goes another plane. It's an Su-27 SK. Since there's no aircraft in the sky, there's no target for it to go after. And now it's just time to play the save up our points again game. I brought in some Scorpion 90s. They are amphibious. So since I can't cross the bridge, I am going to take my own route and probably cross here into the... I thought I did. I guess I'm just going to park here to see if there's anything more that tries to come across into our zone. Commando Marines are going up against Marshutens. Marshutens prove why they are the king of infantry fights, except they run into their own napalm. And they're going to be peppered by these STRFs, autocannons. So Commando Marines live to see another day. Another napalm is coming forward. Yep, my Scorpion 90s have crossed. With their amphibious nature, they are going to bypass both the napalm and the toll boost entirely to get onto the other side of the enemy landmass, and is hopefully going to be able to start finding something valuable. Links to H7 successfully unloaded is SAS. Needs to take off again, or just fire rockets while stationary, because that makes complete sense. Prams are going to be opening up with their Conkers. These are actually a pretty nice unit, 35 points. Conkers and long-range HE. Unfortunately, no good against tanks when tanks are in firing range. Commando Marines are going up against Zesty and not faring too well against them. And it seems like the only way to push forward into the enemy is onto this side. Scorpion 90s managed to get a nice point-blank range shot onto a heavy tank. Since these guys are 30 points, taking on an 85-point tank is a worthy achievement in my book. More tank reinforcements coming across. We got some anti-tank missiles coming forward to try to take out these Type 59 tanks. Missiles coming forward, and this is the reason why they're working so well is because the tanks are actually going perpendicular. They're actually not charging against these forces, and also these tanks are coming forward to defend against, basically screen against these ATGMs and provide some valuable support. So there is actually another use for ATGM land vehicles, and that is if you have a bunch of tanks in front of them, they can provide nice support while your tanks charge against another enemy armored column. The problem is they don't do much against helicopters, which is also another big problem that tanks have to contend with. Lynx AH7 is just going to fly over, see if it can spot anything. I know this is kind of a bit of a suicide run, but I can't really reload it because we are basically out of fuel in our area. Lynx AH7 does go down. SAS helped take out the nasties napalm. We got a couple of Kahoos. They fire at the Type 59, and they're going to evac. One takes a hit, another missile's coming forward, and it takes both of them out because they were both flying in too close formation. Such unluck. And SAS go up against Machutsin, but the Machutsin have 2 guns. The SAS only have the M16, so they will be ripped apart in no time. M1 Abrams do take out a lot of stuff on this side, and we are beginning to push our counter push into Echo. After the enemy force has stalled out, we are going to continue our assault forward. My GR1 is launching some cluster munition against basically over here, where I think there might have been some vehicles. Nothing there, unfortunately. GR7 is going to be launching their bombs as well. And doesn't really kill anything. Oh, another GR7 comes in and takes out quite a bit of infantry on this mountain. Probably those Machutsin that killed my SAS. M1 Abrams are going to be crossing across the bridge, and now we're assaulting their secondary landmass area. Lynx AH1s are going to be dropping off some, I think, some commandos. Lynx 20mm are going to be completely swarmed by Su-27SK, so the enemy has a lot of anti-air superiority fighters in the air right now. We need to be careful. T-72M1K is spotted and taken out by the M1 Abrams. As it seems, the Apaches were shot down. Paratrooper 90s have unloaded, and they're going to be backed up by some Eric's missiles. Abrams are picked off as they are out in the open and surrounded on all sides, as it gives a lot of points to the enemy. M81s are going to open up with their tank shots as well. And it looks like the enemy force is dug in already onto this land match. My CH-135s are shot down before they could back up those M1A1 Abrams. Landing into the river. And none of my men can swim. That's tragic. Paratroopers are going to be moving forward. They're going to scale a mountain as if it's nothing, because they are certainly awesome like that. They're going to get over this peak, and then they're probably going to dismount down the side of it as well. Are they going to do that, or are they going to just stop at the peak? Nope, full-blown charge. So they're going to run down the mountain just as fast as they ran up it. So that's perfect. If we get to nice secure into Echo, we can basically capture it for bringing more points, or at least we would, but it is going to be close to the time limit as it's going to be caught up. We are winning in terms of points, but this is still actually pretty close, even though the difference is by about only 1,400 points. In a 10v10, that is no points at all. The TTS tanks are actually doing pretty good against any forces that they come up against. T-72A did take out one of them. They are not the best armored tanks at all. Needs to acquire that T-72 before it acquires them. Another rain shower forecasted of rockets to be brought in. The enemy's trying to get as much points left as possible. Paratrooper 90s are going to turn and engage these Machutsins to be able to help out these live gardens. Can't quite see the Machutsin yet, as the Machutsin are going to rip apart these live gardens. Now the paratroopers do get into range, and they're going to stun up the Machutsin, saving my allies' troops. As more artillery is going to be raining down, slowing our progress along the way. Artillery is coming forward against these Munas and Schmells, but they have too much hit points, and the artillery does not do quite enough unless you drop an attack'em missile and destroy whatever ship that was on the other side. Looks like a Schmel. And the Moon actually died as well. I take that back. Nicely done, whoever was artillerying that. M1A1 Abrams is out of fuel because the Abrams has a very small gas tank and a engine that uses up way too much fuel than it needs to. More showers peppering the air landscape. Wish it was no longer the rainy season. Paratroopers are in prime position, so we definitely have this side enemy pushes. We'll be able to properly defend. Leopards are coming across. We have another 40 seconds to try to see if we can get the points advantage for us to win. It could quite possibly be a draw because of how close a 10v10 actually is. And yeah, I'm actually kind of sick of all that rocket artillery, and it's coming from that location there. T-72M1 are going to be on the high cliff over here, stopping any forces from moving forward. Abrams are going to try to engage. Liv Gardens are going to be a distraction as the Super M60s are going to engage against the Promets and miss. One of the T-72s do go down. It's coming down to the last few seconds here. And nothing more is achieved, and it turns out to be a draw. 40, so with a difference of only 1,000 points, it seems. It still is within the margin error for a draw, but we do, if we want to go with actual points, we do win. I actually did pretty well. 8,000 kills compared to 7,500 losses. But it is actually the second highest kill feed in the game. Ravine has definitely MVP. Huge amount of kills with half the losses of his kills there. Excellent job. I want to also thank the enemy team for playing against us. And as you can see, lots and lots of kills all across the board. And the sheer craziness that is a 10v10. You are going to take losses. Stuff doesn't make sense, but you just have fun with it. So lots of kills with my infantry, as there's no real tanks. Scorpion 90s held the line, as, yeah, lots and lots of kills achieved. Totu, lots of kills. GR1 was that nice bombing run that started the bridge blockade. And yeah, so really fun game. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please do like, comment, and subscribe down below if you enjoyed this video of Wargame Red Dragon. And I will be doing another deck very shortly. Thank you all, and I'll catch you all in the next video.